something here. Let's see if we can have an interesting live stream where we start out with me just kind of getting ready. I realize with live streams, literally the way it works with YouTube is the longer you go for, the more likely is that people start picking up the live stream and watching it and engaging, and then the algorithm's like, oh, I wonder if other people would like this. So having them run for longer is not a problem on this side as long as the phone keeps charged up. So last night the live stream cut off because my phone battery went bad. Went bad. Sorry, there'd be no surprise to anybody that was watching that live stream as I'm like live swapping the batteries here. But I'm going to go to the Chandlery, so I thought as I get ready here, we can kind of warm up in the first 15 minutes of the live stream. Hello to the first person. And I've realized that my YouTube career, such as it is, it completely depends on this one battery, which I couldn't find until now. So we've got power to the phone. Let's just have a see. Right, yeah. Okay, good. Just make sure my phone is doing everything it should do. Great. So this is ready to attach to the bicycle. I've got a bag that I can, I've got all my gear in. We're going to go to the Chandlery and get some gear swapped out here. And I've actually previously already set up for the bike to be able to receive the phone. So last bit, I have to get the microphone, put it on me, and then we can maybe chat as I ride through Cherbourg to go to the Chandlery, buy these bits, and then we'll come back and I'll give you the update on the mast track section. Okay, so this is the plan. Alrighty. Let's get a microphone. I have no clue if this is going to work, but it's possible. It's possible. And we've got one extra piece that we have to find here, and then we're good to go. Here, I'll put you on deck whilst I'm just getting the last of my bits together. I've got my bag here, got my helmet for the bicycle, I've got the battery, got to take the bits back to the Chandlery, but this Samsung phone actually bends in half. So I can just prop you up here. Alright, and then I think actually now we can turn this around and do flip. There we go. That is downtown Cherbourg. I'll give you a couple of minutes to watch that whilst I go and get my bits together. I'll come up and move it around a bit. Oh, you know what? Maybe there's too many boats. Have a look over here. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? helmet on. Yeah, I'll move you around over here. Seriously here in France. Very few of the people without helmets on, but it's kind of funny because they haven't got their helmets on when they're on the scooters, which are going twice as fast. Alright, hang on, let me just check out my mic situation here. God help us with this mic. I think it might work. I realized I was being held All right, cool. Put the phone down here a second. The Samsung phone, it bends in half. There we go. How's that? Anything better going on with the audio? If not, oh yeah, cool, great. I was realizing I've been like held captive on the boat by the little the windsock thing that goes on the microphone. I can't find it. It's a very specific one for this microphone. In the end, it's like you just got to go. So if the audio is not perfect here, I do apologize. All right, let's have a look around at Cherbourg a little while I walk to the bicycle. I'll try and talk you through what's going on. God, if I don't prod myself in the eye with my sunglasses first. There are some things you can do single-handed and some things you can't. Have a look around. So this is the inner basin in Cherbourg, and it's got some pretty interesting boats. Some pretty interesting noises down here that you don't hear so much in Canadian cities where everything's like stop, go, and super quiet. Little two-stroke mopeds. Yeah, so we've got some things which are in here because they're probably not going anywhere for a little while, like this one, but it's being constantly used by the people that seem to come to it every other day. So who knows, different people living in different ways. That's what I love about these kind of marinas. They look bad now as well because it's the end of winter and everything has got mold on it. Everything here molds so terribly. It's been amazing to me to see the condition of the boat. I completely bleached the boat. When I left the boat in January, I completely bleached all of the interiors and everything, and now I'm back on board. It's only been 3 weeks and there's mold again. Look at this. So this is like a high latitudes French aluminum twin rudders. You can see the rudder peeking out of the back there on this side. Dive ladder. Got the Targa bar with the solar cells on it. Good old D400 right there. That thing, one of those on the back of my boat would power my autopilot all day long in all the things I could possibly need. He's got himself a seat. Look, there you go. All the best have nav seats. I would say this, if it's going to go in that high latitudes, I'm not sure why the cockpit would be open, because it's going to be cold, right? But it's got massive rails there for the bimini, you know, where the cockpit cover. And I guess if there's a connection, oh yeah, there's another one at the back there. So probably there's tenting that goes down all the way around the side of that. And then you see on the back deck, you've got that anchor line. That's a real kind of high latitudes thing with the idea that you're going to be either setting kedge anchors and sitting in a stream where you've got to be nose on to the stream, or that you're setting them to the land when you're in like fjords and the Antarctic, Greenland, and you're having to, there's no way to get an anchor down reliably. It's better to send out lines to the land. So then again, there'll be normally one on the foredeck that does the same thing. Deck stepped mast. Quite a new tender on the foredeck there. Nice big windlass. We've got 2 forestays, of course, like a true cutter rig. The forestay goes up to the top of the mast. It's a masthead rig. And then the inner forestay, it's not demountable, but you might expect to see something like that on this kind of boat. The inner forestay there up to the top spreader. And just you know, a really simple, really stiff mast, full tube width all the way to the top there. The inline spreaders, but although that's quite a tweaky, bendy rig in some ways, it can bend a lot. We bend those kind of masts a lot in racing. Here it's got the twin backstays, so it's like, it's basically impregnable. And look, it's got intermediates as well. So the cap shrouds go up from the base there. You've got the 2 shrouds to the left, to the forwards. And then people get a bit confused with port and starboard and left and right. Sailors don't always say port when they mean left and right when they mean starboard. Obviously, we all get that, right? So the one that is to our visual left as we look here now looks like it's the cap shroud. Am I right? Or maybe not. Doesn't matter. Maybe actually, I think the forward one, the left-hand one, is the one that goes up and is an intermediate D then. So that stay alone can hold the mast. If it snaps off at the top, there's a full rigging system in there, plus another full rigging system that goes to the top of the mast, and then twin diagonals at the lower section of the mast. So even if you rolled that completely over, you know, if it can take it, it'll go right the way around. If it can't take it, it'll lose it at the top or the middle. But what you're left with is a completely usable spar, and it's deck stepped, so it won't damage the boat. And the boat's an alloy anyway, so it's not really going to be that much of a problem. Yeah, very cool boat. Here we go, and here's Osprey sitting on the side of Cherbourg Rassi 49. We'll have a look at some more of these, but we got to get along. I'm not just going to talk boats all the time. So we're on our way to the Chandlery. What a day to try and do this, my goodness. What I'll do is I'll ride there in a way that's definitely downwind because I'm not sure the battery's going to last to the very end of the entire mission, so we'll see what happens. Now I have got, here's our bicycle. In my bag I've got the battery I'm going to put back in. I'm going to mount you over here, so you have a look at the boats here for a minute. Stable as I thought. It really is a very windy day. All right, let's take a ride on a bicycle. See how this works. We're going to be upwind a little bit first, and then when I turn, we should be downwind all the way to the Chandlery. A few bumps here. All right, so right on the footbridge here, and this is the inner harbour at Cherbourg. You can see our mast sort of standing out a little bit there. And then over inside here is the fisherman's harbour, and at the back there where the big building is, that's the where the fish is processed. So the fishermen come in through this, see, twice a day, go into their inner harbour, and this bridge moves out the way to allow them entry. Here we go. Let's get back on the bike here. Keep going. All right, so this is much better, right? I think the so you see, it's a lovely place here. Really enjoying my time here in Cherbourg. Oh, I'm gonna have to hold this up, I think. We'll get this worked out. The super easy with bikes. I'm not a massive bike rider these days, but I have been, and I've done you know, rides from like Sydney to Brisbane and stuff, and having the opportunity to just be off the highways here in Europe, where you know, it's narrow, it's twisty, it's turny, super nice. They don't seem to mind waiting for you at the crosswalks, which is even better. Alrighty. Yeah, Cherbourg's been brilliant. What we're doing now is like skirting around the edge of town. Most of the middle of town is cobbled streets, so limited opportunity to go through there, and it'd be nice for people watching on on the live stream. Yeah, loads, can't really maybe see so much, but just to our right here is the little boat Marina, where I was tied up before I went through the dock. And then that to our right, the Titanic came in here as part of her departure from Europe on her last trip, and Cherbourg has a bit of that. Over on our right over there is a submarine museum, which is pretty cool. Maybe we go and have a look around that might be fun. And then as we ride around the edge of the old town, there's this wonderful, you know what, let me stop and show you some amazing architecture here that'll is like rigging. It's pretty cool. Hang on, let me let's just get the right position. We can stop and talk about this amazing cathedral. Yeah, okay, got it. I've got to get the right location now, so we're not going to be able to see the bits that I want you to be able to see. It's a little impromptu diversion here. We're meant to be going to the Chandlery. Chandlery. That's the idea. All right, have a look here. Of course, the dang sun has to be directly above the church. Okay, so just park up our bicyclettes here. Is Cherbourg a cheap place to get work done on a boat? The marina prices are good, and obviously I'm paying enormous amounts because it's an 80-foot boat. Obviously, if you were a 40-foot boat, it's going to be considerably cheaper, right? All right, I'm back here. Let me take all this gump off. So we're like halfway to the Chandlery. Have a look at... Come on, bike, make this easy. All right, let's get where we can get the look up at the church without the sun being in the way. All right, cool. So you have a look here, see these structures coming out from the side of these columns here. These are flying buttresses, right? And those flying buttresses are distributing the load from the central roof, which is trying to spread apart, and it's trying to take that load and spread it out and then down through the foundations over here, right? So this structure here is trying to push outwards away because it's being, the weight from the roof is going down, this is going outwards. So these spires on the top here are preloading on those columns, so that the top of the column, because it's made of bricks, is not falling back over. So the columns on the top act as a pre-weight, like not pre-bend exactly. It's like basically the inverse of the mast. The mast is trying to hold a big load. This one is trying to support a big load. So literally everything goes the opposite way. But you can see, I'm very nervous about standing on grass around churches. But you can see here, right? So this is where the amazing, look at these windows. Look at the amazing work that went into these. But all of the structure is spreading the load from above it here. This panel inside here is structural. The cathedral is made very, very lightly. Each section is only holding up the wall that's essentially in between the main structural components. But within that, it has to take a point load from above. So it does it by distributing it down. This is nearly 1,000 years old, this church. Yeah. 1,000 years ago, they were thinking about the same things that we've got on our rig, and they're applying it to an amazing piece of construction like that. Right, let's get back on the bike and see if we can get to the Chandlery. I think I just dropped the helmet. Yeah, okay, so we were talking about the Marina. So the Marina is definitely pretty cheap. As things go on the south coast of the UK, the northern coast of Europe. The thing here is cost of repairs. Again, I see the very worst of what they can charge. The sail making has been great. The engineering, we were talking about that a little bit. The engineering on the mast track is creating a bit of a problem. It's not creating a problem because they can't do it here in Cherbourg. It's creating a problem because it's a very expensive thing to have to replace. So I'm very used to situations where everything on a boat is $1,000. So I'm not surprised when I get a bill and it's $1,000 for another custom piece. But the thing I want to do this time, which is a bit different, is I want to come out of it having spent my $1,000 and got more from the situation than just I now have a piece of metal in my hand. I was talking to Ken about this. Ken is into 3D printing in a big way and has a lot of knowledge on a subject which for me until recently has been a bit Space 1999. Like, okay, we're gonna do what? Sorry, you know, like literally creating matter. I can remember reading a sci-fi writer called Greg Bear in the middle 90s, I guess it was, and they were talking then about like printing matter and printing things. That was in Anvil of Stars, I think it was, the book was called. And you're reading that like, you know, as a teenager, like it's complete fantasy. And now here we are, you know, within my lifetime, Ken's telling me, oh no, that's absolutely something we can do. So the reality is the piece of mast track that we're trying to replace, I dropped it in the water, but they want $1,000 US, give or take, to make a new one. Because when you are going to make a custom track section like that, you wouldn't just make 300 mil, you'd make, you know, hundreds of meters of it, and they would have done because each mast is 32 meters on the hoist, and there were 8 boats. So you're talking about, you know, 250 meters of track or something got produced. So the main thing is that just trying to make 300 mil of it, they have to use this like wire cutting method
that works vertically and will cut the exact curvature that's required for the component out of a maximum 300 mil piece of aluminum, which is right on what we need. So it's very expensive. What I'm thinking is, can we come out of this with more of a win, in that the thing we have in our hand at the end of it is more than just a piece of metal that solves a sailing problem? Can we come out of it with, I know, a relationship with Prusa, who are the guys who make 3D printers, more of an understanding of this technology, more of a kind of wherewithal when it comes to getting this kind of, you know, component manufacture in the future, and a kind of production line set up so that we can make that a reality. So that's my thought pattern at the moment. And the guys from the engineering company have given me their quote, and they've said that it will be, let's turn this over, hello again. The guys from the engineering company have said that they will do they'll start it basically next week if we're going to do it. They give me the price, and I have that much money available. We're still looking for crew for the Newport Bermuda race. I've still got 9 places available, and anybody that watches this channel knows this kind of boat just burns money. So if there's anything you'd like to know about that, give me a shout. But that's how this lot works now. It's all about people coming on the boat, and their money goes directly into paying for the boat. So we've got a pretty interesting little spot here. One second. All right. Give me a second here. Where are people watching from? Yeah. I'm a bit new to doing this, so I suddenly go into the laundrette and there's a load of people there. Don't have like witty repartee. Am I still on my microphone? Yeah, we're good here, right? All right, cool. We're just going to go in the into the chandlery and get some specific parts that we need for finishing off the nav seat and finishing off the fuel transfer pump. So at the moment, the fuel transfer pump has got a connection that goes down from the pump and goes into a Y, and the Y goes off to each tank. Oh, curses. The chandlery is shut. You're kidding me. When do they reopen? to 12:30, 2 o'clock. No problem. We got an hour. God damn it. That's the one thing you learn about France. Like, they take the work seriously. They are out of here as soon as they can get out of here. And that's a good thing. I would say that's a strong way to be. The thing I really wanted to do was get that wash on, because that's the nav seat covers. And I finished off the nav seat last night. So 3 jobs I've been working on is the nav seat and the fuel transfer pump, the lights, and what else have I been working on? I guess, the grey water tank. I guess that's things. Those are things which, from my point of view, being on the boat, I want to. We're going to have a look around the marina here. You guys will love that, right? From my point of view, being on the boat, and I can't use the grey water system because the pump floats not working. That makes life hard. That tank was leaking into the bilge. That makes a lot of work on an 80-foot boat. If you take 5 litres of grey water and tip it into the bilges on an 80-footer, you're basically like inoculating a yogurt, right? It's like you put a little bit of bacteria in there, come back a week later, and it's a whole lot of bacteria, and that all starts to grow and make the boat terrible. So trying to get that off the list. The fuel transfer pump, I was literally using a drill pump and trying to, we'll go back and look at all these boats, don't worry. Using a drill pump with a DeWalt drill on it and moving transfer around to, fuel transfers around, doing like 20 litres a day with a drill pump. You're like, it's spilling everywhere. It was such a mess. So I'm really happy to get that one off the cards. Oh, they've got a little boating thing going on over here. Yeah, they're very good at sailing here. Oh, we can zoom in using, have a look at this. They're very good, like, maneuvering boats here. I don't see much excitement, but it's pretty blustery out there. Oh, here comes the travel lift. The travel lift's rushing into position. Wow, this could be fun. Let's go and have a look at this. All right, so yeah, getting the grey water tank out the way, getting the nav seat set, so I've got one place I can sit and just like feel planted. I'm pretty excited about that. And then getting the getting the lights sorted again. These are just like quality of living that I want to get sorted out. So very happy to get involved in that. Let's have a see what's going on here. Oh, I can zoom out now, can't I? Sorry, still learning. Oh, I thought they are. Look at this. Oh man, let's get the best position. Let's go over here. This is fun. Only now subtitles. Can you hear my audio though? Somebody says strong right to left wind here, no tide, no fenders. I feel like I should go in here now and stand to the left. Oh, dang it. Is this really a thing? I suppose when it gets in the well, it'll stop blowing around, right? This is terrible stress on this guy. I shouldn't be doing this. It's not fair. I've got to like relieve his stress any way I can. Oh, I can't get between the... Look at that, it's caught it. Oh man, sorry I moved out of the way. I was actually going to go and stand on the left-hand side in case they blew in close to the dock, but look at that. That is so nice. God, it's so easy to have little boats. Wow. Look, they're just going to hoist this thing, man. Oh man, that was perfect. And then the stern strap's going up. Look how fast it moves, such a little travel lift. Man, that guy was solid. Thanks very much for telling me the sound's okay. Look at that, just whipped it. Man, we should just have a travel lift cam. This would be so much easier. That was great. Wow. Man alive. Me coming into the dock with mine is not quite like that. Obviously, I got a few other things I have to worry about, like every foot of width is a problem. All right, we said we'd have a look at these boats over here. Let's have a quick see what we've got. I don't know what Camille is. She might have seen a bit better days. This method I love, where they just get the ratchet straps and just nail them to the ground. Or strap them down, I guess. That's kind of interesting. That's what I think of when I think of a French boat. It's like super sensible. Libertine. Oh yeah, beautiful. Wow. Nice. All made up with prop wash. Oh, here we go. A classic, like alubat type French centerboard, hard chine, round the world thing. That's pretty much like that red one that we saw at the Marina, but done in a different way. Yeah. Wow. Scooby-Doo. I like these kind of wing foil sections on the back. Challenger had a thing like that. And again, another, oh, that's clever. Look, so that bit there, that arm drops down this way for picking up the dinghy. That's kind of cool. Love that. Just the arm going across the back there. And then lifting rudder and everything so you can dry out. It's looking nice. Wow, look at that. So scow bow on that, right? See that big fat scow bow on there? Is that a mini? It's a mini, right? It's a mini Transat. Yeah, beautiful. Oh yeah, this looks like a pretty new one as well, right? Nice. Oh no, Jeanneau don't make. So what is that? Is that Figaro? Now I get lost really quickly, right? Now I get lost really quickly. Bavaria, okay, back in. I only know about such a very narrow area of boats that I like don't know the cruising boats and I don't know the little racing boats. Yeah, okay. Another one. Now we go over here, and there's a whole other. Oh. There we go, you can see what's going on. So just here in the Marina, there's loads of, these are the riggers we've been working with. There's loads of service providers right here. So we're just literally like a couple minutes bike ride away. Z-Ship, that's not the Chandlery I go to all that much, but they've got an amazing selection. And then motorboats and everything over here. And then in here, we've got the boatyard, which is all right here, ready to go. And what I like about this boatyard, it's nice and clean and tidy. It's been like invested in. It's got a tarmac floor. It's not like a big messy yard. I think if you've got the messy boat here, then you're the odd one out, you know. Yeah, these are the kind of boats that come here. Look at that. Oh yeah. So this is kind of a busy season for the providers here in Cherbourg at the moment, because they're just about to pull the boats back in the water. So everybody like me is asking for, can you do this one thing at the last minute? Yeah, nice. Yeah, and again, look, if they're jet washing the bottom, they must also be picking it all up, because the floor is not. This is where their jet washing is here, but it's not covered in crap. I do like a boat that can dry out like this. What's that? It's such an odd design for someone like me to to love. Look at that though, that's got so many good things going on about it. Loads of room inside for what it is. Oh, outboard, I don't mind that. And an outboard in a well with a nice plate on it. Super easy entry off the back of the boat. A gate that folds in, like, man, that is cool. I love that boat. Oh, a life raft at the back of it? Holy moly. This has got like really cool features. I haven't heard anybody on the chat for a little while, so I'm not sure if anyone's still there, but I'll talk to myself about boats, I don't mind. But look at this, like looking down the side of it, like it's, look at that, oh, you get the angle there? Look at that, it's actually like wider at the waterline than it is. Is that called tumble home? Where it kind of comes up, the tow rail's a bit narrower like that? I think that's tumble home, isn't it? Quite an interesting little boat. Wow. That's the most competent little boat at that size I've ever seen. That's awesome. Hi there. Very cool. Yeah, I love that. What a great boat. All right, what else we got? Something little over here. I'll turn you around so you can see a bit easier. Oh, that's not bad either. Yeah, Pilot House. I gotta say, being in Nova Scotia and being where the weather is really crappy, like Pilot House makes a lot of sense to me. Oh, and then here we go. This is where it's all going wrong. If you want a cheap boat and you want to come to Cherbourg, this is for you. You can have this Jeannot going cheap. Man, oh, it's a jet washing dream, that. We consider this a fixer-upper. It's actually not that terribly bad. If anyone actually wanted to save it, like, you probably could, right? You probably could. But that's what happens to old glass fiber boats. My thing is, there's all these people that are into prepping, and they're trying to work out how to put containers underground. It's like, just get a 40-foot boat like this and put it in the ground. It's like designed to resist pressure. And it has an interior and all the hotel services you need already built into it. That's called foreshadowing, by the way. I have a project like that I'm interested in. Oh, that's another pretty boat. Always when I see boats like this, I always think of what was the first day. What was the first day when it looked like super nice and someone's scrubbing it and getting it all clean and getting everything polished up, and the winches were serviced, and that was the nav station. It was all lovely and the switches were lovely, and you know, that moment's gone. But for somebody somewhere, perhaps in a few photos, it still exists. That's wonderful. Little bits of history. Wow. Oh, that's nice. I can see people's responses now. I end up like just chatting away to myself in a boatyard. Actually, there's no change. Look, it's that boat that they hauled out. God, everything moves so quick when the boat's smaller. Yeah, I got to get into that. All right, well, our washing is probably already done back at the Chandlery. Let's watch this guy a bit. Yeah, just get the quiet. This guy doesn't mind me. Nice tight maneuvering there. Travel lift operators are so skillful with their machines. It's like such a giant thing for anybody that's new to being around a boatyard, and they're just swinging them around through these super tight circles. The same when we move Osprey around. Okay, it's a bigger one, but the guy that runs that one knows it really well as well. 40 tons. I think the width is the problem for me. The width is the problem because I'm not sure. I'll try and cover up the mic a little bit here. The width on these things is the issue. Like the boat's 21 foot wide, so you just can't get into a travel lift that otherwise would easily be able to pick it up. At 25 tons, it doesn't weigh much more than a lot of like 40, 45 foot traditional boats, but they're not then 21 foot wide, right? All right, here we go. So yeah, spring is already sprung here, and obviously this part of the world has quite a mild, let's see the palm tree things here. When I was young, I lived in an area called the English Riviera, and it was like this with these lovely palm trees. It certainly feels nice. The last of the snow seems to be just going away in Nova Scotia now. It's already middle of March, but it could easily come back. I don't think anybody there is expecting that it's definitely finished now. The reality is that I want to make a space next year where this kind of January, February, March, it's much better for the boat to be here in Europe than be over in Canada, because like how many times have we done videos where I can't get to the boat because there's ice on the shore. Although the boat is not locked in by ice, the bay is not frozen, I can't get off the shore because there's 2 inches of ice. It's not safe to do anything with 2 inches of ice, right? So yeah, being here would be good, and we've got a bit of a kind of setup now. The only thing we have to watch is that, particularly with the rig, that the riggers that work on the boat really know what's going on. And I think in the end, that's going to be me. I will learn exactly what needs to be done, and then I will look after the rig, because my knowledge level is already comparable with this particular kind of rig to professional riggers, and it ends up being a bad interaction for them if they've got me hanging on every word they say and double guessing everything, right? No one likes that in their workplace. We're back with our washing machine. That's cool. Right, we're a bit stuck without the chandlery being open, so I think what I'm going to do is get something to eat, and I'll recharge the phone here a little bit, and then I'll restart a stream this afternoon when I get back to the boat in a couple of hours, and we'll talk through the mast track section and what we're going to do there. Basically, the story of the mast track section is that we're going to see if we can't 3D print it. We got a quote from the engineers here, say, which was $1,000 US for that mast track section. You know, it's over there underneath that jetty. Like, I know where it is, the bit that I dropped, just can't get to it right now. The mud inside of here would probably be about, you know, however thick it's been since it was last dredged. When I go and dive in these marinas, which I've got hundreds of dives in marinas, you're looking for things by lying on what is essentially like where the mud starts and the water stops, and pushing your arms down as far as your arms can go, looking for things. So you're digging 3 feet into the mud, looking for something. There's just no way to find it. But it leaves us with, if we're just going to make a little piece of mast track, then the piece of mast track is going to cost like $1,000. If we can get the 3D printing thing online and understand the 3D printing and have it even that we can do it on the boat, suddenly lots of things become possible. And I've actually been talking to printer manufacturers like Prusa through Ken about having exactly this situation on the boat, and it's been me actually like leaning away from it a little bit and saying, is this really useful? But you know, I think it would be. Everything on the boat is custom. When the mast track's custom, like you've got a problem, you know. So let's see if we can make that happen. The key thing is we need to find somebody here that can print it. They can print with the right filament. It's a high temperature filament that's basically as hard as aluminum. I am pretty certain, but when I did the design of the mainsail, I made it that none of the sliders sit exactly where that piece of track is. We'll have to see. If not, we will have to move the bits of unless it's a batten, we'll have to move little intermediates around, because it's really a good idea if nothing is on that part of the mast track. And then, yeah, going to get the information this weekend. We already have the CAD file that's been done by my friend Sylvan. So we've got all of the technical data we need. We just need to be able to print that component like round here and get it couriered here. And if we can have that on the stocks by Monday, I don't mind being here until the end of next week, because every day I'm doing more work on the boat and getting more things done. We're going to the Newport Bermuda race. We are crossing the Atlantic now to go to qualify for the Global Solo Challenge, but to go across the Atlantic to the Newport Bermuda race. So if anybody wants to join me for that, contact me through csmthemariner.com. There's a contact page there. Just find out about being a sponsor, or you can normally get me if you go through the comments in these videos, right? So yeah, but we get over there and get this capacity suddenly on board to print things. That's going to be much better. So I'd rather be leaving here on Friday next week with not just $1,000 piece of $1,000 piece of metal in my hand that solves a sailing problem, but a whole load of different sailing problems solved by being able to 3D print things rather than trying to get things machined. So we'll come back and have a chat with that. Let me just go back through the messages here, make sure, yeah, best hobbies looking at the boatyard. I love looking at boats and boatyards. Patting boats bums, I was told it was called. You've got to love a bit of tumble home. Absolutely. I very rarely get to see a travel lift because the Royal, hang on, Nova Scotia Yacht Squadron. Oh, right. Is that right? RNSYS, yeah. Uses a cradle on tracks. Oh, they do. That must be Nova Scotia. The whole, what do they call that? Marine Railway? That doesn't exist anywhere else apart from the Philippines, India. Like, I haven't seen that stuff in forever. Certainly at East River Marine in Nova Scotia. If you're not at Royal Nova Scotia, the boatyard which I've been using for the last 10 years now, East River Marine, they are absolutely phenomenal. And they're in Chester, which is only like half an hour, 40 minutes out of town. It's a beautiful place to keep the boat. They also now have taken over Lunenburg Foundry, the boatyard in Lunenburg, which means the boat is further away, but it's a very nice place to keep the boat. But again, travel lift there. So yeah, interesting. I've seen the biggest travel lift I've ever seen is an 800-ton travel lift in Palma de Mallorca, and they got it. You'd like see it like journeying around like a dinosaur, carrying like a 40-meter boat like it's nothing. But in the end, after a couple of months, they had to stop and then go back and redo all of the hardcore in the yard because its weight was crushing the underlying sediment or the underlying strata, whatever. Can you do a video when you're tuning your rig? Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to do videos about tuning the rig. There's two parts to that. One of them is easing off the bottle screws. I've already filmed some stuff of that, kind of doing them in sections. I would love to go up today. It's actually quite windy, and I'm not going to stress myself up the rig when it's blowing a hoolie up there. So that's why we're not doing that today. We're doing other things. But the weather will come back good. And then we've got 4 more bottle screws to completely ease off. So I have to take the mast off jack and ease it down, and then take the weight off the diagonals. And then I want to ease those guys completely off. And then we can go in and have a day where basically I'm going to leave the cap shroud tension as it is. I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's too bad. What's more important is the diagonals are very, very loose on that mast. So we got to get those sorted out before we leave. So yeah, rig tension's on the thing, the hull. But I'm as a way of interacting with people, streaming is getting easier and easier for me. Like I'm basically at the laundrette and I'm talking to you guys. That's very different from having to make a video, I'm doing all this, and then spend an hour silently like editing it, or more likely what happens like 4 hours editing a 20-minute video and then uploading all the rest of that stuff. This is very different. So if this can work, this is by far the easiest thing for me, and then videos as well. And I am washing the nav station seat covers now because they still had some mildew on them, and I was just like, I've done all this work, I don't want to be sitting down in the chair and there's still mold on it. So they're getting washed again, and then we'll be able to do the videoing in the nav station, which is the whole point of that. So yeah, we're looking pretty good here, man. We're looking pretty good. Like people just having a smoke, finishing off their work break here. It's such a nice way to live. So we are at 1:30 here. It's lunchtime. I'm gonna get some food. I'll charge the phone up, and then I'll come back online in a couple of hours, and we'll do some more of this. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and then you'll see a notification when I'm online. If you can put comments and whatever that stuff is, likes and things, that means that when this video then gets released as a normal video, it'll have a bit of momentum and it picks up and goes. I'm not sure if this kind of stuff is very popular with sailors yet. What's going to get interesting is that if I can learn this skill now with Starlink, I can do this at sea when we get out there, and then we've got 20 days crossing the Atlantic. So you are watching me learning how to make a bowl 364 times, so that on the 365th time it's perfect, as opposed to waiting a year to make one bowl and expect it to be perfect, right? Let's have a see here. We've got some more stories. Hey Cherbourg, missed that place already. Hello Ken. What is the qualification race for you? Okay, so the qualification is everything I'm doing with the boat in here now is going towards the Global Solo Challenge, which is in 2027. So we have a 2-year, slightly less now, but 2-year from my point of view runway. I actually started this in May of last year, nearly 2.5 years runway to the Global Solo Challenge. I want to take this boat. This boat is an open 60 hiding inside a maxi. We got to do a couple things to the rig. We got to go do some, we got to change out the head sails. But if we can get the core rigging done, and if we can get the structure of the vessel as it is, that's what I'm working on every day, then we can get into the Global Challenge and actually be really competitive with it. The boat as it is at the moment, structurally inside the boat, safety gear, all that sort of stuff, we're doing offshore races all the time. We've got a brand new mainsail that was 70,000 last year. We spent 20,000 in the yard getting the keel overhauled and the keel bolts tightened. So this year's project is to get the standing rigging on this boat replaced, and we're just going to put rod rigging on like this. It's the strongest possible option, and we're going to do that by people coming on the boat and joining me for a sail, and then they put in sponsorship, which is about, people come on the boat for about 10 days, and I'd say 3,000 US is the minimum people are paying to come on board. And then the value proposition is for $300 a day, you're on board with me for 10 days. We do a big race, and you get to learn and do kind of one-to-one training and seamanship, and that's always been very good. But as opposed to running a charter company in the past, now the sponsorship just goes directly to the boat. So that's why I'm taking you shopping, I'm showing you the bills, we're doing the work together, like this is what it costs to create this thing. But when I leave here now, I'm setting off transatlantic in this maxi, which might sound crazy apart from I've already sailed it 10,000 miles solo. I've already crossed the Atlantic with it 3 times, and the last time, the fourth time was solo in July of last year. So I'm going to cross again now to the Canaries and then over to North America, and that's going to qualify me for the Global Solo Challenge in 2027. So that's the overall arc of it. And this year, let's say if we can do 3 events this year, we can pay for the new rigging for the boat if we fill the boat up. So that's how that's working. Hello from Ken. My boat at East River Marina, they broke one of their stands with their, and what? With their, really? No, that's not cool. I will say this about East River Marine. There used to be a boatyard that fixed stuff, and now they are mostly a storage yard. And you can see that from their business model point of view, it's easy because you need unskilled people doing most of the work. And if you do offer some stuff, it's going to be like gel coat repairs and outboard engine servicing and that kind of stuff, rather than we need a custom thing making, which we did a lot of work with them like that over the last 10 years. I'm sorry you had that experience with them. They have been very good to me over time, although I will say this, I haven't been actively using them for the last 3 or 4 years. So like in the yard and working there, so I'm a little bit out of date. But in terms of infrastructure, they have it all there, yeah. Did you fix your pumping? My transfer pump or the pumping of the mast? The mast is pumping, that's why we're doing the rig tensioning. And the pumping for the diesel is why I want to get into the Chandlery now to get the last couple of components. What I'm trying to do is I was making a, I'll turn around so you've got like a view of the Marina a little bit here as well. Oh no, you can only see it all whited out. Okay. The issue with the transfer pump that I'm just fixing now, I wanted to make it that there was one extra valve on the manifold that goes to a very long piece of hose, which I can take anywhere there's diesel on the boat and then transfer stuff into the tanks. It's become a more and more important thing of what I'm doing to be able to transfer diesel around like that sometimes. And so I'm going to buy the extra components so I can make that happen. 3D printing can be a great solution, depending on as well, if you can agree, it's not a cure-all, but as we advance capabilities, yeah, be amazed at exactly. So that's Ken just pointing out with 3D printing. The key thing now is that we're in the early days of this kind of technology, right? I'm sure that we all recognize the limitation with 3D printing is it's very good at custom and it's not good at just throwing things out. But if the technology continues to advance and it's not like, you know, we have one spinning Jenny, but now we have 1,000 spinning Jennies, we have to just get very good at making the spinning Jenny, right? As all evolution and all industrial stuff has advanced, it always starts out, and we're just in that kind of border zone now, the first 10 or 15 years of everybody getting their hands on 3D printers. Put 50 years on that. Will Ford be printing rear axles for their new cars? Like, probably, I would imagine, right? or hover capabilities, whatever that is. Okay, I'm going to go in and do the washing. I'm going to get some food sorted out, and then I'm going to get back to the boat, and we'll chat a little bit later on. So thanks very much for stopping by on this one. Had some people watching, which was great. Thanks for the thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.